Welcome to the AVAIL podcast, where we dig deep and talk about the art of leadership. My name is Virgil Sierra, and today we're sitting down with Dr. Jimmie Gray. Dr. Gray is a highly experienced leadership coach and business leader who holds multiple high-level certifications and is the owner of the renowned management consulting firm, Gray Management. Today, we'll discuss Jimmie's latest book release, Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEPP Way, and we'll discuss various helpful leadership strategies. So, lean in, leaders, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AVAIL podcast. We talk leadership. We roll up our sleeves in this art we call leadership. My name is Virgil Sierra. I'm the lead pastor of Vertical Church, aka Iglesia Vertical, in South Florida. We are one church, two languages. I'm your host for the AVAIL podcast, where we have the privilege, the honor, the blessing of sitting down with amazing leaders who are making an impact in these times, in this world. And today, we have none other than Dr. Jimmie Gray with us. We're going to talk leadership. We're going to talk coaching. We're going to learn. We're going to grow. Dr. Gray, how does it feel to be on the AVAIL podcast?
It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me today.
We love talking leadership, and I know that this is something that's in your heart. We're going to be jumping into really the heart of your book, Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEPP Way. We're going to go into that in a second. But before we get there, I would love for our AVAIL audience to just lean in and get to know you a little bit more. Can you share a little bit about yourself, Dr. Gray?
Yes, I can. So I'm Dr. Jimmie Gray. I'm a leadership coach from Cleveland, Ohio, but also wear other hats. So I'm a business consultant, executive leader, board of director member, and also a Lean Six Sigma practitioner. And as a leadership coach, I focus on helping my clients really enhance their awareness, discover their deepest aspirations for the work in their life, and I help them go deeper in understanding who they are at their very best. And I'm big on continuous improvement and development and learning. And throughout my career, I've had various opportunities and work in various industries. My background is engineering, but also business and leadership. So I've worked in aerospace industry, manufacturing, automotive, technology, financial services, just to name a few. I'm a big college football fan. I love Little Debbie snack cakes. My favorite is honey buns, zebra cakes. And some of my core values is I love God. I take care of my family. I'm big on continuous learning, making money, helping those in need, integrity, and really accountability. And if I kind of wrap this up in terms of my personal vision, it's really to live a purposeful life, an authentic life that inspires and empowers others to reach their full potential.
I love that. It sounds like you're pretty clear on why you're here, why God put you on this earth. And I love that. When it comes to books here at AVAIL, we are big. We push leadership and growth and learning and books. And that's why a book like your book is a resource that leaders need to have in their leadership resources. Your book is entitled Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEPP Way. Now, as we spoke about, Dr. Gray, we have a lot of Christian leaders that are connecting and leaning into AVAIL, a lot of ministry leaders, pastors, but we have a lot of marketplace leaders as well. What inspired this book? Talk to us about the heart behind why you wrote this book.
Yes. So the ideas and the inspiration from this book came about when I was doing my research for my dissertation topic. And my dissertation topic, it really boiled down to leadership and Lean Six Sigma. And I ended up completing my dissertation work on Lean Six Sigma. But when I was in my doctoral program, I created this model to help leaders win in business, which is the basis of my book. And I did a lot of reflection when I wrote the book. I got a ton of inspiration in reflecting back on my career journey. So when I first started my career, I wanted to be an engineer. Then eventually I wanted to be promoted to engineering manager. And then lastly, I wanted to end my career as an executive vice president of engineering. But that's not how it turned out. So I was an engineer for about 2 years before being promoted to a management position. And I was working in a 3-shift, $70 million business unit. and I quickly realized I didn't understand business. So
Hmm.
and I really didn't know where to focus. I was all over the place. And the company I was working for at the time didn't have a formal leadership development program. So I had to invest in myself to go back to college, to get a business degree, to position myself for success and to be a better leader. And if this leadership in action book was available back then, it could potentially have saved me forty to $60,000, and it would have provided me with an area of focus as I transitioned to leading people. And this book really provided it would have provided guidance on how to develop a strategy, how to execute the strategy, how to develop a winning team, and how to prepare for change and success. So this would have been a great resource for me, and that was really my motivation, is really thinking back over my career.
Wow. You kind of touched on it right now, but who do you hope grabs this book? Like who as you look and you're like, this book is now available. Who's on your heart that you want to grab this book?
Yes. So I wrote this book for leaders who want to win in business, but this could be for corporate executives. It could be for a football coach. It could be for a pastor. It could be for a board member or a manager at a grocery store. It could be for someone that's in a senior leadership role or new to leadership. And really, when I think about this book, the benefits, it's all about winning in business. And winning in business is success. It will help be successful for a lot of reasons. And for me, it's about, one component of it is financial stability. So if you think about a company, profitability allows them to invest in growth, innovation, expansion, also
Hmm.
with market leadership. Being successful in business often means having that competitive edge. This can lead to
Hmm.
increased influence, market share, the ability to set trends in your industry. Another big
Hmm.
component would be around innovation and growth. So successful businesses are often able to innovate and adapt to the changing marketplace. So winning in business allows a company to invest in research, development, also create new products and services. They can potentially expand into new markets. So it's a lot of different reasons around this, but those are a couple that I wanted to highlight today.
Hmm. I like that. I like that. I like that because I think I'm talking to you and I'm already getting motivated. Dr. Gray, I'm already getting motivated. I gotta get better. I want to grow. I want to do more and be more effective in all my roles and responsibilities. Now it's interesting because you start out your book in chapter 1 by outlining the profile of an effective leader. Can you give us a little bit of insight into what the profile of an effective leader is?
Yes. So the profile of an effective leader, it starts off with a case study. So this case study is based on a time frame 1 year after the COVID-19 pandemic. Around that time, the economy was changing, the workforce was changing, and a lot of companies started shifting to remote work. So in this case study, there was a lady named Fiona who was promoted to regional manager of a small bookstore chain. And she was a
Mm,
great individual contributor, but she was promoted because she excelled at recommending and locating books for customers, helping them process orders, handling product returns, and a lot of different things she was able to help with. She was a technical expert and she was great at executing tasks. But when she started working with the executive leadership team, they was able to help her create a solid strategy for maximizing profitability, productivity across the stores that she operated. She also developed an execution plan, but something vital was missing as a part of her plan. So as a part of the first chapter, this chapter, I asked the question, do you know what's missing?
mm,
And then from there, I go into the key elements of good leadership. And there's a few that I want to highlight here. So the first one will be transparency. So when a leader is really open and honest with their people, they
mm,
face fewer challenges. Another key component would be confidence, with also trust and humility. So just ensuring that a leader remains grounded and connected to the people that are surrounding them. Another key component would be learning from failures. So,
mm,
leader must be willing to take on significant risks and experience failure as they wish to achieve and get those rewards that they're out to achieve. Creativity will be another element of this. And then the final
mm,
element will be excellent communication. And a good leader should position themselves to communicate effectively. And this can be via writing or personal interactions with their team.
mm. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that because you know, having an idea, especially people who say, man, I want to grow. It's good to begin to
Yeah,
think about, okay, what are some of the qualities and characteristics that I need to think about and consider? Where am I strong? Where can I be better? Something
yes,
that caught my attention as I was kind of looking at your book is in the title, Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEP Way. And pardon my ignorance, but I wasn't sure what the SEP way was, and it was great hearing you explain that. Can you? What does SEPP stand for?
yes. So SEP stands for strategy, execution, people, and preparation. And this is a flexible model. So you can go to any area that you might have a challenge in as a leader. So if you need help understanding and developing a strategy, you go to the Power of Strategy chapter. So if you need help understanding and executing the strategy, you go to the Power of Execution chapter. If you need help understanding the components of building a solid team and teamwork, you will go to
Mm-hmm.
the Power of People chapter. And if you need help
Mm.
understanding the importance of preparation and how to prepare to win, you would go to the Power of Preparation chapter. So the strategy provides the vision and the direction. Execution ensures that the plan is implemented correctly. People bring about the necessary skills and expertise to the table, and preparation ensures that all the necessary resources are in place. And when all these elements work together, leaders and businesses can achieve their goals and objectives.
Yes, good. I'm curious in your years of coaching, Dr. Gray. When you consider these four areas: strategy, execution, people, preparation. I know there's a little bit of everything out there, but where would you say that one stands out as being maybe a more common pain point, like a more common, like we need help in this area? Is there one that, from your experience in coaching and leadership, is there one that stands out that you've seen out there?
Yes, it will probably be strategy. I've seen a lot of people struggle with really putting together a solid strategy, and if you don't have that solid strategy, you're not going to be able to execute. But the key component I have seen is strategy. So I see a lot of organizations and a lot of leaders struggling with developing the right strategy to take their organization to the next level.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Um, I'm as I'm hearing you talk about the book, and as I kind of scan the table of contents and just the heart of the book, I can't help but think that sometimes some people may feel, can I do this? Right? Um, you know, I- maybe it's the concept of self doubt, right? And along your journey, Dr. Gray, you know, the first half of the question is, along your journey, did you ever struggle with maybe feeling or thinking, I don't know if I can do this, and then on the second end of the question is, what advice or what encouragement would you give to somebody who's like, I want to grow and I want to be a better leader, I want to take my business or my department to another level, but I'm just not sure if I got what it takes.
Yes, yes. So for me, I struggled in every element in this book. That's one of the main reasons why I framed the book the way I did. So when I first got into
Mm,
leadership, me personally, I didn't know what a strategy was or how to develop a strategy. I didn't know how a strategy connected to a vision or a mission statement. And then from there, once I understood the strategy part, then pulling together the right resources. So jumping over this is where it's a flexible model. So jumping to the
mhm.
people section. I didn't know how to develop a team or put the right people in position to help me win. So for me, every component at some part of my career really impacted how I transition as a leader. So this is the main reason why the strategy, execution, people, and preparation, this model was developed to help me first, but then to share this knowledge with others. And could you repeat the second part of your question?
Yeah. What advice would you give? For example, if there's a leader, whether they're younger or older, and they're kind of telling you, Dr. Gray, I just don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I got what it takes. They're struggling with self-confidence issues or self-doubt. What advice or what encouragement could you give them?
Yeah, so that is actually a great question. So for me, I will start with preparation with anything. So it all starts with the purpose. What is the purpose? Why am I doing this? So I would start there for any leader and really build on that confidence as a leader. Because when you're
Mhm.
thinking about winning and thinking about the overall power that you can bring from winning is really going to lead to
Mhm.
long-term sustainment. And for me, I will really have them focus on those areas because winning in business is important because of the long-term sustainment of the business. But being successful in business, whether you're going through an economic downturn, you're going through an industry disruption, or any other challenge, this can really help you set the foundation for the long term of the marketplace. And another key component of this, we all go through struggles, we all go through challenges, but it's really how do you bounce back from those challenges? And as a leader, the biggest component is about how do you really attract talent and resources that'll help you and your organization be successful. And when I talk about being successful in business, it's really about who is the top talent I can attract? Who are my partners? What are my resources? Which can further enhance my ability to innovate and grow. And winning in business can create that positive reputation. You can attract the right people with the right skills. Maybe you might be looking to attract investors or strategic partners. So all of this ties back to how you can transition because we're going through a lot of change in the workforce. And by putting together these components, it'll help you win, help your company win. You can expand your operation, you can hire more people, you can contribute to the overall economy, and you can make this world a better place.
I love that. To me, Dr. Gray, it sounds to me like you're passionate about what you do. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
so, so here's, I want, we'll come back to the book in a second, but as I'm hearing from you, and I'm just intrigued by your story and where you are. What 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 caused you to say, I want to become a coach? I want to be a business coach. Um, what attracted you to that kind of, because it takes kind of a leadership mentality and perspective to say, I want to do this, and not only do I want to get better myself, I want to help others succeed and become better. Like what happened? Was there a moment where something came alive to you? Was it progressive over time? Was it somebody that inspired you specifically? How, I want to just kind of on the personal side with Dr. Gray. How did that happen?
So the first way it happened was a lot of my coworkers and friends started coming to me for advice. And I'm saying, okay, this is something here. And I didn't know what that something was. But as I
Mm,
started educating myself in the space of coaching, I started getting more and more people reaching out to me, say, hey, Dr. Gray, can you help me here? Can you help me there? Which led
mhm.
me to develop a personal vision, which I talked about earlier, which is to live a purposeful and authentic life that inspires and empowers others to reach their full potential. And so for me, this is the foundation of it. It was people reaching out. And then from there, I really got into the coaching process. And for me, my coaching process is based on 5 discoveries. So within discovery one is really about helping my client understand their ideal or authentic self. And if and I do this through reflection, examination, expressing what are your core values, what are your aspirations, what are your dreams, what is the meaning of your personal vision. Then I go into discovery two, where it is really about self awareness. And that's through, once again, examination and reflection and helping them understand their current situation and their strengths and opportunities. And then for me, I transition from discovery one to discovery two to discovery three. And it's all about creating that learning agenda or that learning plan to help them translate their reflections from the first 2 steps into an actionable plan that they can really define their goals and their action steps. And then discovery four is all about experimenting and practicing those new behaviors. So learning from their experiences. And then we tie this all together about having, leveraging, supporting, trusting relationships who can support them through the change. So for me, having those friends and families first reach out to me saying, hey, can you give me coaching? Can you give me guidance? Can you give me advice? It helped me develop a framework that I can coach others and help them maximize their full potential.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Um, I, I I can't help but think that your story is very motivating and inspirational for a lot of people. Um, did you have growing up, did you have maybe some model coaches or leaders in your life that you looked up to, or did you look out for that? Like was there something that sparked it maybe even when you were younger? Because it's one thing to say, "Hey, I can do this. I'm gonna move." It's another thing also to say, "Man, there were these people in my life when I was younger." Or sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes people say, "I had nobody, and I just looked up to some people from a distance." How was that for you?
Yeah. So for me, it was my football coaches. So I grew up playing football, and I didn't have a father in the home. So I looked up to my football coaches, and they would give me guidance. They would help me learn the sport of football. So I started playing football when I was in second grade. So I looked up to my
Mm,
coaches in second grade. Then I transitioned to high school. Then for some reason, I looked up to my coaches in high school. And then the same thing happened in college. They were like my mentor, my coach, and there was someone I can bounce ideas off, or if I had a challenging situation that I want to talk to them about, I can go to my coaches. So my coaches was the foundation of, they were the core,
mm.
really inspiration and motivation for me as I transitioned throughout my career.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. One of the things that I know you talk about in your book is how important it is for leaders to understand and embrace their unique leadership style, right? Their style of leadership. Can you talk to us a little bit about why that's important?
Yes, yes. So in the book, I feel that every leader should understand their leadership style and really embrace that unique style. And for me, there are several leadership assessments to helping a leader understand who they are. And some of the
Hmm.
assessments I use to help my clientele and my coachees is, the first is a DISC assessment. And it's really about
Hmm.
asking the questions on their behaviors, helping them evaluate when they're going through in a challenging situation, how do they communicate with others, and how do they solve problems. Another model is the Clifton Strengths. So based on the name, it's focused on the strengths. So this is helping leaders understand what do they naturally do best. And this assessment is also inherent to, helping them develop once they understand what their strengths are. Another assessment that
Hmm.
I use going through my coaching process is the Myers Briggs assessment. And it's really a personality test,
Hmm.
and it's used for employment and for leadership purposes. But it really focuses on four factors that really breaks down how someone acts, thinks, and feels. And then another assessment that I will sometimes use is the Enneagram leadership assessment. And this really focuses on their leadership style based on how they influence or how they lead others. And it dives into how they communicate, how they make decisions, how they handle conflict, and how do they motivate others that they lead. And with all of these, this is really boiled down to how, a leader is going to be effective and understand their style. So to get to understanding their style, that's why I start with these assessments, because some leaders come to me, they don't know their leadership style. So that's the foundation. Let's take an assessment to get to better understand or know what your leadership style is. And then from there, we can dive deeper.
That's good. That's good. I think that's anybody who's looking for coaching. Those are keys to understanding themselves, especially as leaders. I love that. I love that. So, Dr. Gray, specifically, it's impossible in a podcast to really delve down deep into every aspect of your book, which, by the way, is a good reason for people to get the book, right? Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEP Way. What would you say? And after this, we'll let people know how they can get the book and how they can connect with you. But what would you say? What do you think is the biggest takeaway from your book? And how will leaders benefit if they implement the strategies and the principles within?
Just could you repeat the second part of that question again? I missed it.
Yeah, yeah. Biggest takeaway, and then how will leaders benefit if they implement the strategies and the principles that are in the book?
Yes. So with so many things to worry about as a leader, so this book gives you key areas to focus in and help you win as a leader. So the power of preparation chapter, it's really about, starting with that purpose. And from my perspective, it is difficult to effectively prepare for something that you're not interested in or concerned about. Then
Mhm,
from there, it really gets into the plan. So the task of creating a preparation plan is something sometimes overlooked in our daily activities. And all good plans really answer two questions, and is, what are your goals and how will you reach them? And then the last component of this would be prevention. And the main reason we prepare for anything is to really enhance our chances of success while decreasing our chances of failure. So that's really how
mhm.
I would tie that back to the leader and understanding, that's the key takeaway for them and how they would benefit from it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. Um, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you online? And also, if they want to get the book, if they want to buy a few copies of the book and resources, where can they go to do that?
Yes. So you can find more about me, graymanagement.org, or you can go to graymanagement underscore on Instagram, or Gray Management on LinkedIn, or you can go to Dr. Jimmie Gray on LinkedIn. And the book is available on all major platforms. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Thrift Books, so anywhere you could purchase books today, you can find a copy of this book.
The book is entitled Leadership in Action: Maximizing Business Performance the SEPP Way. I encourage you guys to get this book. Dr. Gray has some great wisdom in there for you and for all leaders. Like he mentioned, you can also go to graymanagement.org. That's Gray, Gray management.org. I love that they can also access and connect with you on Instagram and social media. I think that's a good way you can get to know Dr. Gray a little bit more as well. Let me mention this, Dr. Gray, the AVAIL Journal. The AVAIL Journal is a great resource for leaders. Leaders out there, if you haven't had one in your hands, you can try our free trial subscription. We'll give you a couple on us by going to availjournal.com. But this is going to help you because as a leader, you need good resources to guide you. Would you agree with that, Dr. Gray?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I have a couple of questions, Dr. Gray, that are a little bit more on the um, kind of on the spot, spontaneous. We didn't really prepare for it, but a couple of them are kind of quick questions, just personal. And here's the first one: what makes you laugh? What makes you laugh, Dr. Gray?
So I love going to comedy shows. So I'm big on comedy shows. My wife is a comedian, not a paid comedian, but when we're around the house talking, she's always cracking jokes, making me laugh. So I love the family atmosphere, and I love going to comedy shows. Those are the two that makes me laugh.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, another question. Another question. What do you do for fun?
So for me, my fun time is it might sound a little different, but every week me and my wife have a date night. So we go
Come
out,
on.
we pick something different. We might go to dinner, or we might be in
Yeah,
the basement watching a movie. But that is fun to me. Also, I like to have small gatherings around the holiday time with family and friends. So those are the
yeah.
things I really enjoy. And with me being a sports, I love sports. I love college football. I love to sit around on Saturdays and watch college football games, and my favorite team is the University of Alabama.
Very good, very good. I think they say roll
Yes.
tide. I think that's what they say.
Yes, roll tide. Yes.
So here's another question. Obviously, we know that your number one answer would be the book Leadership in Action. But outside of that, outside of that, what's a book that you've read that might be helpful or insightful for a lot of our Avail leaders?
Yes. So a book that I recently read was U Squared, and it's about how to make quantum leaps in your life. So that's a powerful book if you're really looking to not just take those small steps but make a quantum leap. U Squared. I can't think of author's name at the moment, but that was a powerful book that I just recently read.
Very good, very good. Um, what's something, and this could be kind of a quick answer, but what's something that concerns you about the future?
Oh, great question. Something I would tie it back to leadership.
Uh huh.
I think the biggest component here is if we don't have leaders today that's developing the next generation of leaders, we're going to have a gap in leadership. So I
That's
think
it.
that is something that worries me about the future is not having a pipeline of leaders that can step in and fill the gaps and help us win and help us be successful in any avenue that we're doing. So just really making sure that we are intentional, developing that next generation.
That's good. That's a good answer. What about on the flip side? What encourages you or excites you about the future?
I would say AI, technology, automation, and because what I'm seeing in the corporate world is that a lot of organizations are embracing AI, embracing technology, and what it's doing is freeing up capacity and allowing their team members to do other things that add value. Instead of doing the day-to-day routine activities, now you can break that up with automation. You can build in new processes, get more done, more effective, more efficiently. So I think the future of AI and technology is something that really excites me.
Love it. Love it. Okay, here's another question. This requires a little bit of vulnerability. All right, Dr. Gray. Uh, as you look back, what is maybe a big mistake that you've learned from? Whether it's a mistake you made or a way that maybe you failed in a certain way in your journey, or you dropped the ball somehow, some way, that but you were able to learn from it. Can you share something with us?
Yeah, so I will go back to when I was a young engineer, just getting started. And for me, I would just raise my hand and try anything. And by doing that, I actually had some opportunities where I lost a lot of products, where I had defects in a lot of products because I was rushing to do things, trying things so quickly, wasn't
Mm,
really embracing the process, wasn't really putting standards in place. I was just, "Yep, let me try something, let me try something." I'm big on taking risks. I was big on experimentation, and it actually caused the organization I was working for to lose a lot of money in that process. Now reflecting back, I would have took my time, understood, what is the real challenge here, really define what the problem was I was working on, and then from there put some type of measurement system in place to measure the impact of that. And then once I got into the experimentation
mm.
phase, I would actually go back and say, okay, let me try this, and it will be a designed experiment versus just throwing something against the wall to see if it'll stick. And then I will put controls in place after I finalize the solution to make sure that everything was sustainable. So going back to my early career as an engineer, just I like risk taking, but it got to be more of a strategic risk taking versus just trying everything to see what works and just having a plan. Really kind of going back to what I have in the book, really having that plan, being prepared for the changes, and really developing myself in the areas that I could develop myself in.
I like that. Last question here in this little segment here. Uh, what do you want to be remembered for?
Yes, yes. So it still boils back to my passion and my overall vision. I want to help others reach their full potential. So if
Mm.
I think about when I retire and having my retirement cake, I want people to say that Jimmy really impacted my life. He really coached me to the next level. He really pushed me to be better. So I really want to be known in that space as that leader that really a transformational
Mm.
leader that helped others reach their full potential.
I love that. I love that. Man, this has been a great conversation. Avail audience, my people, you got to get Dr. Jimmy Gray's book, Leadership in Action. Leadership in Action. This has been awesome. Dr. Gray, what's a final thought, final nugget you want to leave on everybody's hearts?
Yes. So I would say that in the journey of leadership, remember that greatness is not achieved alone. So if you can get a
Mm.
skilled leadership coach that can help you by being your guiding light, helping you navigate challenges, amplify your strengths, unlock your full potential. And I would say also embrace the opportunity to learn and grow and lead with purpose. So trust in the power of mentorship, self-reflection, and continuous improvement, and embrace the path of leadership and humility and courage and commitment to excellence. And lastly, I would say have fun as a leader. Have fun.
Come on, baby. Hashtag Dr. Gray drops the mic. I like that. What a great conversation. I really appreciate you pouring out to our Avail audience. I want to remind everybody the book by Dr. Jimmy Gray is Leadership in Action, Maximizing Business Performance the SEPP Way. Also, the website that you're going to want to go to is graymanagement.org, graymanagement.org. Dr. Gray, on behalf of Dr. Sam Chand, Martijn Van Tilborg, the whole Avail family, we just want to say we're thankful for your life. We're proud of what you're doing and what you're going to do, and we honor you and we thank you for great leadership.
Thank you for having me. This was a great opportunity to talk about leadership and just provide some value added information to the audience. So thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure having you. Hey, Avail, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast where we've been able to dig deep a little further in this art that we call leadership. Dr. Jimmie Gray's book is available, and you're going to want to get it. It's going to be a great addition to your leadership library, Leadership in Action. As always, I'm your AVAIL host, Virgil Sierra, lead pastor of Vertical Church Iglesia Vertical in South Florida, your host for the AVAIL podcast, where we get down dirty in leadership and growing and making a difference. Thanks for being a faithful listener or viewer of the AVAIL podcast. We'll catch you next time right here on AVAIL. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the AVAIL podcast with our guest, Dr. Jimmie Gray. You can find out more about Dr. Gray on social media, and you can get his book by going to graymanagement.org. For more leadership resources, check us out at theartofleadership.com. And make sure to claim your free trial subscription of the AVAIL Journal at availjournal.com. As always, I'm your AVAIL podcast host, Virgil Sierra. Muchas gracias. Thank you for connecting with us to learn the art of leadership here at the AVAIL podcast.